Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. We can do nothing at all. So what, if you're stupid then you know there's nothing wrong. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning.
It's over here. It's over here.
Well done.
So weird.
Better let your mum come in.
Oh, Ma.
Mum,
Watch yourself on that steps.
Oh, oh my God. Oh, don't start. You'll set me off. I've already been crying, so.
For many generations, brides have been given away to their bridegroom. Of course, these days there is no giving away as such. And today, Chris Ann's father, James, has proudly walked his daughter down the aisle not to give her away. but instead to signify in public his support of Chrysanne's choice to spend her life with Brian. James, are you happy for Chrysanne to be married to Brian? Yeah. Take a wee minute to think about it. Have a shake of hands and a hug and a kiss with your beautiful daughter, and then you can take your seat. Thank you. I am delighted to welcome you all here today as we join together to witness and celebrate the marriage of Chrysanne and Brian. My name's Fiona Flanagan, and it's my privilege to have been asked by our couple to conduct their wedding ceremony here in the beautiful surroundings of Harvest Moon. Throughout history, couples have taken part in ceremonies to pledge themselves to each other in marriage. And over time, these wedding ceremonies have taken many different forms. No matter what form the ceremony takes, the principal purpose always remains the same. It's to recognise that two people have found that special someone who makes them feel complete, and that they've chosen to commit to each other forever through marriage. Today's ceremony is a humanist occasion. Quite simply, humanism means believing in ourselves and in each other, in the power every one of us has to make our lives and the lives of those around us better through our own actions and attitudes. It also means celebrating every moment of the time we have. That sense of joy, spirit and love sums up exactly what Brian and Chrysanne want to encapsulate in their wedding ceremony. They are so very grateful that all of you, the family and friends who form the circle of love and support in which they live their lives, are here to share this special day with them. Now I'm going to get you to take just a wee step closer. I feel like you're awful far away from each other. Every love story is as unique and wonderful as the couple who live it. For Brian and Chrysanne, that story began in a pub in Portree in 2005, where Brian's band were playing. Now, it wasn't exactly love at first sight, because Chrysanne's first impression of Brian was that he was a wee bit arrogant and standoffish, so she didn't particularly like him. Hard to believe. A couple of years later, a party brought the two of them together again. This time they had a proper chance to chat, and Brian's charm soon worked on Chrysanne.
What was that?
Sounded a bit like a disbelieving snore. Over the next year, a friendship grew between the two of them when Brian's band came up to Skye to perform. That friendship changed one October evening as they sat chatting on the stairs in Chrysanne's mum's house. The two of them admitted their feelings for each other and their romance began. The next 5 years saw Chrysanne and Brian regularly covering hundreds of miles back and forward between Kirkcaldy and Skye to spend time together. Until Chrysanne made the move down to Kirkcaldy and the two of them set up home together. Over the coming years, our couple built a solid and committed relationship. And as time went by, it was obvious to them both that they belonged together for life. Or as Brian puts it, until death, and after that you're on your own. In 2018, Brian decided it was time to put the seal on their relationship with a memorable proposal. His first task was to choose the perfect engagement ring. It didn't take him long to find the right one, but trying to collect it once it was posted caused him no small amount of stress, since the shop he'd chosen to have it sent to never actually seemed to be open. The ring makers finally sorted things out so that Brian could collect the ring, but he had to do so while Chrysanne was in the car with him. Luckily, he was planning a festive proposal, so he could pretend he was just collecting a Christmas present. A month or so before Christmas, Brian told Chrysanne's mum of his plan to propose and asked her to keep it to herself.
That was difficult.
He slightly underestimated Sandra's excitement at the news, though. And when our couple went to Skye the week before Christmas and spent an evening at a gathering at Sandra's house, Brian had a steady stream of people coming up to him to say, "You're getting married." By the end of the night, he was beginning to wonder if Sandra had taken out an advert in the Highland Press. Brian's next preparation involved ordering several heart-shaped helium balloons, bearing that all-important question, "Will you marry me?" And then he waited for Christmas morning, when he and Chrisanne had the whole family at home with them. When he was ready for his big moment, Brian called Chrisanne through to open her Christmas present. Now, he hadn't prepared any flowery speeches, thinking that the message on the balloons and the ring tied to the string would say everything necessary. However, when Chrisanne opened the box, the balloons floated up with the writing facing the wrong way round. And Chrisanne didn't immediately notice the ring tied underneath. So it was only when she turned to look at Brian and saw him down on one knee that she realised she was being proposed to. She was so shocked that after a moment or two, Brian had to prompt her for an answer. And Callum didn't waste this short opportunity to scare his father-in-law, saying, "That'll be a no then." Of course, Chrisanne's answer was a very happy yes. And 5 seconds later, she was off phoning everyone with the happy news. Although the reply from many of them was, "I know, your mum already told me." Now, while the love that Chrisanne and Brian have for each other will be the same tomorrow as it was yesterday, marriage makes a fundamental change to a relationship. The very act of making a public promise to love and support one another for life marks a meaningful and a powerful commitment. It involves hard work and compromise, but it's also a fantastic adventure of spending every day with your best friend and spending a lifetime enjoying a love which grows deeper and more true with every passing year. With this in mind, I asked our couple a few questions about their shared life and their love for each other. And I'd like to share their words with you now, and with our couple, since they've kept their replies secret from each other until today. Now, both Chrisanne and Brian told me that their love had grown steadily and gradually in the early days. Chrisanne said, "I remember the first time I told Brian I loved him. He'd been on Sky, and he was calling to say he was home. As we finished the call, I said, 'I love you.' It wasn't until I came off the phone I realised what I had said, and I was slightly embarrassed as Mum and a few friends were there." Next, I asked our couple what 3 things they most love about each other. Chrisanne said, "I love that Brian will start up a conversation with folk he meets. Some folk would say he's a social hand grenade." "Brian is always trying to get me to love myself. The greatest love of all is to love yourself. And I love when Brian spoons and pulls me close in to him." Sorry, Brian.
You said what?
Sorry for letting your secret. Now, Brian had a fairly succinct answer to this one. Chrisanne has the most beautiful eyes. And the other 2 things, well, I'll leave that up to your imagination. Next, I asked our couple what their relationship had taught them. Chrisanne said, "Being with Brian has taught me that no matter what life throws at you, as long as you talk to each other, you can get through life's toughest challenges." And Brian said, "What being with Chrisanne has taught me is that you can still get a woman that will make your tea every night." But Brian might be in trouble after this ceremony. What's that? Finally, I asked our couple what getting married means to them. Chrisanne said, "Marrying Brian means having my best friend at my side for the rest of my life. Having someone to share life's trivial day-to-day happenings, both good and bad, and always having each other's back. It means knowing there's someone to laugh with and cry with. It means all of the above. And the sex ain't bad either." I think that definitely deserves a round of applause.
Who said that?
I thought.
And Brian,
I wondered what the attraction was.
Brian had another fairly succinct answer to this question.
All right, this is going to be good, is it?
Prepare yourselves. Marrying Chrisanne means absolutely everything to me. I love her with all my heart, and I always will. That deserves a round of applause.
It's like roles reversed there.
You were all expecting something very different
I was
there.
expecting that to Chrisanne's answer to Brian.
I know, no.
And so we now come to the heart of today's ceremony, when Brian and Chrisanne will exchange their legal vows to commit to each other in marriage. As a symbol of their love and a reminder of the promises they'll make to each other today, our couple will also exchange wedding rings. So if we can have our best man forward with the rings.
Both of them?
Just the one, just Chrisanne's
Just
just
the one?
now.
Okay.
Brian, please take Chrisanne's left hand and repeat these words after me. I, Brian Jack Page,
I, Brian Jack Page,
accept you, Chrisanne Corrigal,
accept you, Chrisanne Corrigal,
in marriage to be my lawfully wedded wife,
in marriage to be my lawfully wedded wife,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for
for
poorer,
richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live. And then you're on your own.
Let me put the ring on Chrisanne's finger. And if we can have the other ring forward, thank you. Chrisanne, please take Brian's left hand and repeat these words after me. I, Chrisanne Corrigal,
I, Chrisanne Corrigal,
accept you, Brian Jack Page,
I accept you, Brian Jack Page,
in marriage to be my lawfully wedded husband.
to be my
In marriage to be my lawfully wedded
marriage to be my lawfully wedded husband,
to have and to hold
to
from
have
this
and
day
to
forward,
hold from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
as long as we both shall
and
live.
as long as we both shall live.
So
You
put the
ready?
ring on.
Pleasure.
And I'm going to get you to hold hands. Brian and Chrisanne, you've chosen to marry, and you've pledged your love, your respect, and your lifelong devotion to each other. You've promised to stand by each other through whatever your lives together may bring. Following the declarations made before me, and in the presence of your witnesses and your loved ones, it is now my most pleasant duty, Brian and Chrisanne, to declare that you're married and to pronounce you husband and wife. You may. I think we need another kiss. That wasn't long enough, was it?
Good snob.
Now we're about to make things legally binding with the signing of the paperwork, so we'll be back with you in just 2 minutes.
Okay.
Sharing a drink from a quaich is part of the ancient traditions of Celtic clan hospitality, and it has always signified trust, friendship and kinship between those who pass the cup among them. They've each brought a wee jar of sand with them today. These separate sands represent the myriad thoughts, feelings, experiences and qualities which make these two individuals the wonderful couple they are. Marriage is a belief that the journey through life is richer and better for being travelled hand in hand and heart to heart. The marriage ceremony allows us all to celebrate this new beginning and to wish so much success and happiness to these beautiful newlyweds. I hope that you will all long remember the happiness shared by everyone here today. Finally, would you please be upstanding if you're not yet? And get ready with your applause and your cheers, as it is my great pleasure and my privilege to give to you all for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Page. Hey, Brian and Casahan!
Anyway, on behalf of my wife and I, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'd also like to thank everybody who has donated money. But for those who haven't, there's a bucket on your way out. Still time. But seriously, thanks for everyone for coming, and thank you for all the gifts you've given us. Thanks very much. Oh!
And everybody that came.
Oh
and
yes,
helped out,
sorry,
just like-
everybody last night that came and helped us out. Fantastic.
Yeah, like,
And also for the people that made my bride look so beautiful. And the beautiful bridesmaids. And the beautiful groom. Anyway, thank you.
And I'll say this only once, and for all those who are not listening, tough. God bless them above anyway, and whoever they are, wherever they may be. I'm not great at speeches, so I'll not keep you long. Brian kept you a wee bit longer than that. A lot of people obviously expected. But on behalf of my own family, I don't want to go into too much detail or I'll start greeting. But it's a great thing for me and the rest of my family to welcome Brian into the family. I don't have a lot to say anymore, but I would just like you all to stand up and toast the bride and the groom and the bridesmaids. Whoa. Now, let's have a party.
Go for it.
Ready? Go.
You have to do another bit. You have to do another bit.